Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Christian Gradowski. Today we are doing a Steelhead Q&A video. I had some clients ask some really good questions over the last couple of weeks while out on the water, and I threw up a little thing on Instagram like, hey, ask me a question, I'll answer in this video. So I got a bunch of Instagram questions, and I got like 3 or 4 guide questions that clients asked me over the last about 2 weeks. Sorry this video is the first one in a couple weeks. We have been really busy. Every day off, I've literally been doing photo shoots or video shoots for Workman Outfitters social media. And my last day off, we had Michigan Outdoors. We took out, me and Max went downtown with them. It was a lot of fun. That episode of Michigan Outdoors should be coming out here in the next couple weeks, so maybe I'll pin it or something on this video. But let's get into the video. The first question I had comes from my client this Monday that I had. And we went out on the White River, should be prime time. I told him it's been good, which it was. Max was running trips, I was running trips, and we showed up and there was no fish on gravel or in the dark water. And we had to work really, really hard to fish deep runs in basically winter water. My client asked, why is that and what happened between those couple days? What was the temperature switch? We had 40s and 50s and some 70-degree days leading up into our trip, and about 4 or 5 days before our trip, we had a flip. And the temperature went from 50s and 40s and 60s to 20s and teens at night with snow and rain. Now, the biggest thing with spawning fish is they can spawn in low water, they can spawn in high water, but their bodies will not let them spawn outside of certain temperatures. They want to get off the gravel, run as far away, their metabolism drops, they want to be in slow, relaxing water, not fast-moving, gravelly water. So what ended up happening coming into the trip was we had 40 degrees, 40 degrees, 40 degrees, good water temps, fluctuating in and out of the 40s, higher 40s into the 50s, and then those 4 or 5 days before the trip, shot straight down. We started the trip, it was 37-degree water temperature, and there was a few fish sitting behind gravel. We hooked up one early in the morning, lost it, and then I was progressing through what I call my gravel water and my dark water that I love to fish this time of year. There was no fish. In those smaller river systems, those fish are able to fluctuate in and out, in and out. The White's not a big river. Running 10, 20 miles and running down river for a steelhead is not uncommon. If those water temperatures do not suit their spawning kind of desire, they are not going to want to spawn. They don't have to spawn like kings do. Kings will spawn no matter what. Steelhead are a little bit more finicky with it. So really watch your water temperatures. If you're having a really tough day, that could be the reason why you're not seeing fish where you normally see them in this time of year. So just remember that you want it to be above that 44 mark. You want it to be pushing higher temperatures of water, and anything past 55, then it becomes real unsafe to hook a steelhead because you're basically going to exhaust them by the time they get to the boat. That 50, 55 to 59, 60, I won't even touch steelhead if they are even in the river because the moment you hook them, they die. So that was a really good question. So another question I got from a client of mine was from a couple weeks ago, and they asked me, what color changes do I make between fall and spring? And the only way to answer that is size and the water clarity. My flies don't so much change per season. The season brings on different water conditions. So coming out of that deep, deep winter, you're going to want to be throwing really small, subtle swing flies. I'm a big fan of that, like even smaller than your fingers sometimes right here. And from there, the water color dictates what I'm throwing. Usually in the spring, the reason why all my flies change colors is because we have really high water, or we have dirty water from melt off, from rain, snowy mixes that's just melting. So that's why my fly colors change. Not so much per season, but the season brings on different conditions, and that's when I kind of move over into different flies. So I hope that helps some of you guys out. All right, so we're gonna go over some of your guys' comments here. And first one is gonna come from one of my clients, Kurt. I'm gonna pop it up right here. He goes, why do I catch minnows when you're out there catching giants? Kurt, I don't know what to tell you. Kurt's referring to my Michigan Out of Doors video that we just shot, and caught a pretty big one on the fly pole, and he's just making a joke. Kurt's one of my favorite people to fish with, one of my favorite clients out there. Always a hoot having Kurt in the boat. But Kurt, just got to keep pushing, man. So, second one, we're going to pop it right here. How to pick bead colors. Oh, geez, can't read. How to pick colors for beads according to the weather, temperature, or the time of day. So, weather, I don't know. Weather pulls into two things. One, high sun and no sun. That's the only kind of two ways I think about it. If I have in and out sun, I'm fishing sun. If I have cloudy with a peak of sun and then it goes right away and then it's cloudy again, it's cloudy to me. So weather-wise, I don't worry about the rain or anything. That just changes the clarity of the water, so that's more of a clarity thing at that point. But for cloudy days versus sunny days, cloudy days, super bright. Your hot oranges, hot pinks, hot peaches, yellows, anything like that. That's what you're throwing on them cloudy days. Really stand out. Your sunny days, I will throw a lot of those like UV ones that the UV overpowers it, kind of look like a streaking ball. So real like of a real hot spotty, but I'm throwing duller colors. So on a hot sunny day or a bright sunny day, that's when I'm throwing kind of that duller yellow, that kind of dull orange. Can you guys see that? Is that gonna focus? Yeah, like just like that. Like that's a dull peachy orange in my opinion. Shout out to Blue, my favorite beads. And here's like another one, a duller orange color right there. I just got this shipment in. So that's what you're kind of looking for. Then on your dark days, you got your, there we go, your hot yellows like that, tallywhacker, blue beads, absolute killer. And then also this guy right here, kind of Mountain Dewy looking, but even that's a little bit dull than I would throw on a cloudy day. That's more of like a mixed day, kind of sun and clouds. But that's mostly what I'm kind of changing up. Hot colors on your cloudy days and duller colors on your sunny days. And then temperature and time of day. So temperature only really, in my head, only really goes into two things. It's either spawn season or not spawn season. My water temperature, I will throw maybe smaller beads in deep winter, but that usually comes with gin clear water. So that's the only thing I'm really worried about. Oh, the water's really clear. I'm not going to throw a 12 mil. But temperature wise, if I have spawning steelhead, that's when I'm going to those molted peaches, peach, dull orange, looks like real eggs that have been dead in the water. They're rolling downstream or pearled. That's what you're going to be throwing. And that's dictated off water temperature to make those fish spawn. If you're in the middle of the winter and the water's 38 degrees or 32 degrees, I don't really think about it like that. I think about it in clarity at that point. And then time of day, not really a whole worry for me. I'll fish if I have a really cloudy day like the other day and I like a certain color like John Scaly. My saying is John Scaly's never failed me. It's my favorite saying. I fished John Scaly 12 mils all day and caught them. So time of day, I don't really know. If you're worried about weather, temperature, or time of day, I wouldn't worry about those as much. I'd be worried about water clarity, time of the year, if you have spawning fish and eggs rolling down, or you just have holdover fish. So for that question, I would almost question you to rethink your question and start thinking about what time frame of steelhead am I in and what is my water conditions that I'm dealing with. So, all right, so we're gonna pop up this question right here. Boop, wherever it's gonna go somewhere right here. What's the deal with swinging flies for steelhead in the spring? What are the challenges? So what's the deal is you keep on swinging. I'm going to make t-shirts one day. It's going to just say keep on swinging. And it's going to have a swing fly with a steelhead like really far away because you're never that close to them. But I'd say the main thing is switching your flies up to what your time of the year is bringing you. A lot of times guys are still throwing big stuff and trying to swing up one like they would in the fall. I downsize everything. I'm throwing a lot of kind of par-ish patterns, real small gobies in the spring and like sculpins, real small stuff. But your par and smolt patterns, that's where you're going to kind of want to be. If you got active fish on gravel and you got 40-ish, upper 40-degree waters, swing them little fry around those gravel areas and those steelhead, those bucks on. A lot of times, Max and I, when we run bobber trips with fly rods, we're throwing like hex nymphs or par patterns on our bottom egg fly, and you'll see bucks, like flies coming through, come chasing at it. They don't want it anywhere near their female. So with the spring bite, I would 100% say downsize and fish near active fish. So even if you see 3 fish on gravel, usually there's more behind it that you don't know is there. I'm always swinging over their heads and bringing it into the dark water, or I'm kind of like backing it into the dark water next to them, and that's going to get me a lot of bites. Now, if I was throwing like a big sculpin pattern or like something like this through that run, you're not really going to get one of those fish to kind of show up on that. Now, if you swing something like that guy, that's going to get you a different bite out of a steelhead. This is a quick, easy snack, and also those males are going to kind of want to push that away and get it away from their female and the eggs that are flowing down. So what I'd say is biggest thing, change your flies up. What are the other challenges? Obviously high water. On the big river systems that I fish, you're just dealing with the water height. Right now on the Grand, it's 5,800. Really hard to swing that. I don't have many clients that can throw T20 and an intermediate head. That is a very hard task to do, even for me. Your shoulder just ends up blowing out by the end of the day. So I just say if we have good water, there's not much that changes other than fish around the fish, throw smaller flies. But if you have high water, some days it's just good to grab the bobber rod and go out there and just catch steelhead and feel alive. So, alrighty, next question. All right, so we got this question right here from Cole. It says, how do you figure out a new river? This one's a little bit harder because I haven't been on a new river, honestly, in quite a long time. I've fished a lot of places in Michigan and put my work in a lot of places. I would say if you're talking just steelhead, one, make sure where you're going, there's not a dam below you that they can't get past. That's number one. For number two, I would really advise you to just take the knowledge of other rivers of similar size and go out and find those same exact spots. So let's say the Rogue River in Rockford, okay? And then you have the Pure Marquette. Similar-ish size with rivers, not lengthwise, but same structure, wood, rock, kind of deep holes here and there with a bunch of wood, slow soupy stuff with windy stuff. They fish kind of the same in my opinion. When I was first learning the Rogue, I already knew the PM, funny enough. I'd fish the PM a lot more before I learned the Rogue just because, the Pure Marquette, the Pure Marquis River. And then I was just local. I'm like, I don't want to drive 2 hours. So I would just head to the Rogue. What got me successful and then got me the confidence to start guiding out there was literally I had the PM's knowledge. So fishing exact same looking spots that I would fish on the PM, but doing that on the Rogue. Yes, every river is going to have its little niches and its little hot spots that are different than other rivers, but generally you're going to be able to find fish in the exact same spot you'd find them on another river similar size. So if you're fishing the Muskegon and you come to the Grand, now that's a different challenge. 2 different types of fisheries, a drainage ditch and a tailwater. So how do we do that one? Well, the Grand, you're going to be looking for structure, especially swinging a fly or chucking beads or fly rod, indicator, bobber stuff. Look for cover. The Grand is either sand or rock. Where are you going to find steelhead for the most part? In a hole, on any wood they could possibly find, and some of them bigger boulders they can sit adjacent to. Now you go to the Muskegon, It's all gravel. There's some sandy spots, and it fishes more like a trout stream. Funny enough, I'd compare the Muskegon to the PM or the White River a little bit more on how it fishes because of that tailwater aspect and how it sets up. It's the same exact thing. You're fishing deep holes with wood, cut edges with rock or boulders, and you have your spawning gravel and your spawning flats with your dark water behind them. So when you're figuring out that new river, take other rivers that you can kind of compare this new river to and just go out there and try to replicate what you do on those other rivers. Hope that helped. It's kind of really hard to explain how do you figure out a new river other than just put your time in, go out there and fish. And if you're a serious fly angler, but you do throw gear, go a couple times with the gear. Chuck a spinner in there. See if a trout comes out or a steelhead comes out. Chuck some really nice floats with a bead rod. So be like, oh, I got a hit in there. Now I can go in there with my fly rod and I kind of can piece together how everything's figured out. Okay, so the big thing is me and Alex have a lot of conversations about this stuff. On bass fishing alone, and it goes same with steelhead, if you're throwing fly only to try to learn it, to either guide it or just be better at it, fly only, you will never be as successful as a guy that is able to put his ego away, do it with some gear, figure out exactly how to do it, because obviously the gear is going to perform better, and then go replicate it with fly rods. The reason why I'm so good at bass fishing is not because I went out there for 30 hours with a fly rod. I went out there for 2 hours with some spinning rods and bait casters, figured out locations, and then spent 10, 20 hours with a fly rod trying to replicate what my spinning gear does. So just something out there, consider it. Don't live and die by the fly. That does not make you a good angler. If you watch some people that only fly fish, kind of hurts them. Kind of hurts them in my opinion. So take that as you will. All right, last question right here. Last question right here from Kevin. Without saying gravel, what are you looking for of characteristics of an ideal spot in the spring? So without saying gravel, 100% look for deeper cuts or deeper water, either right below, adjacent to that gravel. Look for your dark water. Look for what we call highways, where those fish are going to travel. Look where those fish are going to rest. Now, if you have a big spawning flat, and there's a lot of gradient usually in the pea gravel areas where they like to spawn. You have a lot of pea gravel in this one area. And then right behind it back here, you got a 5-foot little hole. All these fish, they get tired. Going right here. They're going down to that hole. So, when you're fishing for steelhead and you don't want to gravel get them, I don't gravel get them, go look for deep water either below or adjacent to those spawning areas. Look for dark water, look for travel corridors or highways, whatever you want to call them, and really pick apart those areas where steelhead can rest, move, and wait to push into the spawning gravel. You never really want to fish on the gravel. When I'm fishing dark water, I tell my clients to throw it on the steelhead's heads so it goes behind them, never snags them. So we're throwing right behind them or on top of them. By the time those weights get down, it is not touching those steelhead. It's going into that dark water right behind, which usually that dark water is for traveling or for backing up to go find slower water after they're done spawning, aka the kind of the drop back talk. Now, if you put me in this situation with this question and you said, all right, no gravels in sight, where am I fishing? Travel areas and rest areas. Biggest thing during springtime is looking for those areas the steelhead are using to move up to that gravel spot, or the area the steelhead are using to drop back and hold in after they're spawning or even before they're spawning. They like to hold up right before and then they'll push up and get on the gravel, do their thing, and then back up and go back and hold after they're done, and then take out towards Lake Michigan. So biggest thing I would say is look for those transition spots and those highways. I really hope you guys learned something. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. We have more videos coming out. Just really busy with my guide schedule right now. There's not much I can do. I got the next 20 days on starting tomorrow, so it's really hard to film a YouTube video with that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you got more questions, drop them in the comments and we'll do another Q&A. So there you go. See you guys later, and thanks for watching.